Do you struggle with having confidence in your fights? Do you constantly shut down whenever you face a real opponent? If so, you're in luck, because I struggled with this exact problem, and in this video, I'm going to be going over ways that helped me get over that hump and become a better player. Now, you might be wondering, why should you trust me? I mean, I'm not a pro, I don't have earnings or an insane amount of PR, so why should you? It's because I just went through this, and I've only recently overcome it. I'm not a pro who hasn't dealt with this in years. I know exactly what you're going through right this second. So if you appreciate these tips, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button for more future content. Alright, let's get straight into the video. So first off, in order to have confidence, you need to practice and at least be somewhat developed in your fighting ability. When I personally saw a jump in confidence, it didn't happen overnight. I didn't just randomly wake up one day with all the confidence in the world. I had to develop as a player, and once you do that, the confidence will come naturally. Now, I believe any form of practice where you're fighting another player can be beneficial. However, the areas I believe give you the most realistic in-game fighting practice is box fights and realistics. I don't have anything against 1v1s. I think they can be helpful. However, I just don't think they're a very realistic form of practice. In a real game, you don't have unlimited mats, there is fall damage, and you and the other player are likely going to get shot down. I think something like box fights effectively trains your mechanics for in-game fighting because it forces you to learn mechanics like effectively peeking and piece control. This is all due to the fact that your opponent can't just build up and run away. Realistics are just as good, if not better, especially the speed realistic categories. Hence the name, they are meant to replicate what a real fight in-game would feel like through aspects like no height restrictions, but having fall damage so your opponent can't build up forever. There's also a cap on resources like heals, materials, and ammo. Playing these game modes aren't the only thing that develop you, but they play a crucial role in it. Now, sometimes when you develop mechanically, you become what we call a creative warrior. You might be an absolute god in creative, but when you hop into a real game, you fold under the pressure. The reason this happens is because of the stakes in each game mode. And what I mean by this is if you play creative, the second you die, you're gonna respawn in 1 second and get right back to fighting. Because of this, it causes you to not feel any sort of pressure, therefore you play more confidently. In a real game though, when you die, you don't immediately respawn, and it will likely take you a few minutes to get back into another game. This realization is what causes people to play sort of tense and not have the same confidence they did in creative. Now, there is a very easy solution to this, and that is to simply not care. Who cares if you have to wait a little bit? And even if you die playing a tournament or ranked, you can always have a better game to regain the rank or placement you lost. Now, it's easy to know you shouldn't care, but it's way harder to actually do it. The best thing I can recommend to actually stop caring is getting more experience. If you barely play tournaments, you're not going to know what to do because you've never been in these scenarios. The more you play, the more things feel familiar, which will again ease up that tension. And by the way, when you're playing these games, you're going to want to be W keying because you're never going to develop as a player if all your experience comes from hiding in a bush for 20 minutes. You need to make sure you're getting actual practice. Also, when you're W keying, make sure you're doing it smartly and using your head to assess different fights and whether they're worth taking. In this scenario, 4 people, including me, ended up at the fight I'm in. And instead of continuing to fight, I attempt to escape. I did this because I knew I was fighting 3 other people and would likely end up dying, and I was also getting low on resources. You don't need every fight. It's okay to skip out on a few if you feel it's not smart to take them. This next clip though, from that same fight, is a good example of believing yourself and not folding under pressure. At this point, I'm out of mats with someone closing in on me, and if I didn't have confidence, I would have likely tried running away. However, I believed in myself enough that instead of running away, I turn and face my opponent and end up winning the fight with no mats because I knew I could do it. Now, this final point is a huge confidence killer for so many people, and it's understandable. When you're in a game and you notice the person you're fighting is not just good but cracked out of their mind, a lot of players tend to shut down and accept that they're going to die. In this scenario, I'd like to envision the person you're fighting is Clix and he's streaming. I don't think you want to die in front of thousands of people by getting full box since you were too timid to actually put up a fight. If I were the person fighting Clix, I'd put up the biggest fight I could, and even if I die, at least Clix and his stream can acknowledge the fact that I was good. This worked for me because I actually died to Mongrel and Mr. Savage in an FNCS game, and when I looked back at the clip, me and my duo looked so timid. So from then on, I vowed that I would never crumble and fold like that ever again while fighting a cracked player. And neither should you. I really hope this video was helpful for you, and if it was, be sure to subscribe because it really helps me out. Just a few quick announcements. I've recently started a second channel where I play games either suggested by y'all or games that I just simply find interesting. You can find it by going on my channel's homepage and scrolling down. You can also check out my Twitch where I stream all the gameplay live. Also, if you have a question, be sure to head to my Discord where I can directly answer your question there. Don't forget to use my support a creator code in the item shop. That's JT Fortnite Tips, no spaces, and I'll see y'all in the next video.